Hey, what's up everybody? Yeti Note TV, and we are back here with the second day of the final Go Battle League season marathon. This team that we've got is Shadow Krogunk, aka Frog, Shadow Venusaur, and then Shadow Suicune. This team was really tricky to run, I think mainly because we've got a Poison Jab user and a very heavily mudslapper dominated meta, but we were able to come away with some positive sets, and I will always take that. So into our first battle here, we've got Toxapex into our Toxicroak. So two Toxics, one way bulkier than ours, but trying to make a little bit of a catch. I think we still get the catch here, so I don't know if the opponent just kind of missed it or if they just decided to throw anyways. And then that's good, but this matchup overall is horrible into our Suicune. So I'm kind of hoping that I can just like soften it up a little bit and then come in with our Venusaur later and really work to take out this Toxapex. If the opponent doesn't know what our moveset is, they might give us a shield here, but looks like they know. But we do get the debuff with the Scald, and that is huge. So now hoping that the opponent throws, and they do throw, and now that it's debuffed, and if this is just a brine, we might actually live it. No, we don't live it, so still just enough damage to take us out, but we could have potentially gotten a second debuff off, and then that would have made this matchup even easier for our Venusaur. But now, I'm probably just going to come in and farm this thing all the way down. Hopefully, we shield up this Sludge Wave right here, and it's not a brine bait. And it is a brine bait, so that's horrible for us. So let's see if we can still get this farm down. We don't get the farm down, but the opponent swaps into a Diggersby, so they must be super weak to this Venusaur in the backline. And they let that Frenzy Plant go, which is insane. They don't throw a move. They should have had a Fire Punch by then, so maybe they were like a Scorching Sands, Hyper Beam, Diggersby. And we got the KO right as they got to that Scorching Sands. And yeah, that was it. So their backline must have wanted nothing to do with that Venusaur. And they give us the forfeit. So I will take that into the next battle. Technically a good lead from a typing perspective, but again, we're running Poison Jab, and then they swap into a Confusion user, and they did so much super effective damage into our Pokemon. That was insane. So have to swap out, have to respect this Thunder Punch because it's super effective damage into our Suicune, and we haven't gotten any debuffs off yet. Now we're getting this first debuff off. Hopefully the opponent gives us shield, and they do. So now we can probably live this move. Yet we are going to let this go, and then hopefully get to a Scald here, and then actually threaten some real damage, maybe even take out this Hypno. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Oh, they give us 2 shields, but we get the debuff too, so that's even better for us. Now we can probably come in with this Venusaur and hopefully go for like a full farm down. Might respect an Ice Punch, but we're not going to respect it. They're double debuff. Let's see what they throw. It's a Shadow Ball, so that's amazing. It's double debuff. That barely did anything for what a Shadow Ball should be doing to us. And then now they come in with a Stunfisk. And we hot swap into the Toxicroak, but again, they're fearing like that fighting type damage, so we send in this Toxicroak. They swap into their Dugong, and we get this off. We're hoping that they just take out our Toxicroak, and then we can come in and get a free Vine Whip without taking any Ice Shard damage, which we do. The game does not lag on us, and now we've got a no-shielded opponent into 2 back-to-back Shadow Frenzy Plants coming in from our Venusaur, and that is going to be enough to take out this game. Yep, that was like, what, 60%? For sure going to be enough damage on this next one, assuming we don't, like, lag out and not get the full damage registration. But no issues there. It's a KO. We'll take that. That's another win. So, off to a good start. 2-0 right now. But overall, I think we had, like, just a ton of, like, 2 3s, 3 1s. I don't think we had any, like, amazing sets with this team. But, like I said, Poison Jab, quite a challenge in today's meta. Good lead for us here, though. Look at how much these Poison Jabs are doing to this Clefable. This is technically a good matchup for them, but they don't even build up to a hard-hitting move, so I'm going to let the Swift go, and it looks like a hard-hitting move. Oh my god, but now I know that I can just shield once and farm all the way down, control switch advantage, and then have a really threatening move coming out of this backline, and maybe pull that shield back, or just land some heavy damage. But they've got a more Pekko, which is bad for us, so let's see what we do here. Gonna throw this Dynamic Punch. The opponent has to shield this, but I knew that I wasn't gonna live that next move, so I had to get out of here quick. The opponent probably gonna throw a Psychic Fangs here, but I know that I can live one. But they throw an Aura Wheel, which is crazy. So maybe they're on like Seed Bomb. I don't know whether I wouldn't throw the Psychic Fangs there. But then in comes a Mandibuzz, so this is a little bit tricky for us. But this opponent, generally speaking, just kind of core breaks our team. So I'll take getting some free damage on them. And I should have just probably thrown that Frenzy Plant right there. Go for the CMP tie, but then put them into like a more manageable farm down range for us. But let's see how we play out of this. I know that I can tank this. I can probably tank one more too if I need to. But I want to be cautious that I do not get or let my Suicune get too low, because that Morpeko's fast move damage is going to add up on us eventually. So I probably have to shield this. Yeah, and it's just an aerial ace, so I should have shielded the first one. And then now the opponent's going to get to this move. We make the catch, and that's amazing. Let's see if it's an Aura Wheel or a Psychic Fangs. It's just a Psychic Fangs, but it still KOs us. They can't undercharge it enough to give them more farm. And then I think I make a huge mistake here. I should have just committed to the fast move damage. Let's see if it bites us in the butt. And then, yeah, they get to the move, so I think if we didn't go for that move and we just went for the fast moves, we might have been able to win this. The opponent might have still been able to pull something off with their Mana Buzz, but I'm not too sure. I guess if we had gone for the full farm, we would have had a Scald. So, yeah, I think that was just a blunder on our side. We should have just committed to the fast move damage there and not wimped out. I think that was just like a little bit of unfamiliarity with how much damage my Suicune was doing in that matchup. Again, mixing up the teams every day, not great for like having a true understanding of how every single matchup plays out. But we'll know for the next one not to wimp out and just go for the farm down there. Have to tank a Rage Fist here on my Toxicroak, which is so bad for us. But we can pull a shield at least with this Shadow Ball. And now we can come in and start farming down with the Venusaur. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. We do get denied, which again happens I feel like every game, I swear. But it's okay. We get to shield this Rage Fist, and then now we can keep farming up a bunch of extra energy. Let's see if we just go for a full farm down. It looks like we might be going for that. So gonna lose a lot of HP on our Venusaur, but we will come out really loaded energy-wise. Actually, I do wimp out a little bit at the end there, so I swap out into the Suicune, and I think it does not pay off well, because I've got a Dugong in back, so this is horrible. So if we had just maintained switch, that would have been great. Would have had this Frenzy Plant aligned on the Dugong, hopefully, but I guess maybe not, I don't know. And then we do get the debuff off early, so this drill run doesn't do as much. And then hopefully we can try and pull that last shield so we can come in and snipe this thing down with that Frenzy Plant. So let's see what the opponent does. If they know their stuff, though, they won't... well, I guess we don't even throw the next move. We just come in, try and snipe them down with this Frenzy Plant, and then the opponent catches onto a Bastiodon. Oh, there's no chance we win this game. That's crazy. So a super toxic lineup with the Annihilate and then Dugong and Bastiodon and back. So we did not really stand a chance there. Probably should have given up a shield on our Toxicroak in the beginning, but I knew that we would have been farmed down anyway, so it was a bit of a tricky thing to play out of. Maybe I should have shielded after getting that first shield and then swapped out into one of our backline Pokemon. But overall, tricky team come to play around. Interesting lead here. And I know that based off what they normally have in the backline, my backline should do pretty well. So I want to just kind of let the Toxicroak go down, pull a shield. We've got an incredible matchup with the Suicune into this Pokemon. So I'm going to give a shield here and then hopefully go for a full farm down, come out energy loaded, and come out with good alignment with what they have in the back. But they've gotten a Azumarill. So let's see what we want to do here. I'm not too sure if they're going to throw... Yeah, okay, so we're going to force them to throw and then probably just hot swap instantly into our Venusaur. And then, yeah, that's exactly what we do. Hopefully we can outpace to this move and then force the opponent to either give us a shield or give us their Azumarill. And then we have two Pokemon, or I guess one and then like a little bit of a loaded Pokemon in. They come with the Altaria, we farm it down, and then it's a Stunfisk in back. That's crazy. So now we've got a great matchup with this Venusaur and a loaded Suicune into this Mud Boy in back. I guess Mud and Electric Boy in back. But we are off to the races now. I don't think there's anything that they can do for us. So, or do to us. So, gonna tank this Mud Bomb, get this Frenzy Plant off, and then maybe even go for an Undercharge to let Suicune finish it out. And yet we do go for the Undercharge, but even the Nice still gets the KO. So that Frenzy Plant just did so much damage to that ground Stunfisk. That's like the Unova Stunfisk or whatever. So it's not the steel subtyping that would allow for the grass to be neutral. So much damage. And yeah, like I said, 3-2 set. Again, one with the mistake and then one with the just horrible lineup. So that had the optics to be a potentially better set there if we just played it more optimally. But can't win them all. We'll take it into the next set. Tricky lead. Again, the opponent might think that this is a horrible lead for them and then swap out, but then they don't fall for that. But we might try and go for a catch. We do sort of go for the catch, but again, this will be neutral damage onto the Suicune, so not amazing, but it's also just our bulkiest Pokemon here, and hopefully we can bait on something that the Toxicroak can handle. But it's a Toxapex, so again, super bulky Pokemon. Normally it's always paired with Diggersby anyways, so kind of have to expect one in the back. Maybe I was intentionally trying to bait this guy out, and now we're gonna go for maybe just another Bubble Beam, get this debuff off. Didn't want to risk not debuffing because these poison jabs and the sludge wave will threaten our Venusaur, and I don't think I want to give up a shield yet. So we're gonna tank this. It's a double debuff move, and the sludge wave still does like what, 45%. That's insane. So double debuffed still takes out almost half of our Venusaur. That is ridiculous, and we don't even get the KO. So the opponent gets to another move. That is so horrible. So maybe we should have gone for that Scald and just gone for the gamble. We call this next sludge wave effectively, and then in comes the Diggersby again, which is kind of wild. So gonna get this Frenzy Plant off, and then now let's see what the opponent wants to do. They do give us the shield. It's a CMP tie, so I don't know what I want to do here. Yep, gonna let the Venusaur go down, and hopefully Toxicroak can just run away with this game. And it is a jump bluff in back, which is kind of good, kind of bad. So I go for this Shadow Ball, try to undercharge it, but I do not undercharge it enough, I don't think. Yeah, look at how much damage that still does. And then so we get this shield off. I was hoping that I could come out with almost, what, 2 dynamic punches, but I would have basically needed to just not charge up any bubbles for that to happen. And then now they can just definitely outpace us to this Scorching Sands, and I think it might be overkill even. They probably could get away with just a Fire Punch at this point. So we tried to go for the win con there with the undercharge, but just did not commit enough to the undercharge. We still sent too much damage with that Shadow Ball, and didn't leave enough farm for us on that jump bluff. To be fair, though, we had to be careful because if we didn't charge it up enough, we would have allowed them to get to another Aerial Ace. So I think it was a pretty tight window that we were trying to play within, and we just went a little bit too much on that damage from the charge move side. So again, kind of a close game. Super bulky opponent, and into another bulky opponent with this Mandibuzz on lead. I want to do some science here. How much does this Aerial Ace do to our Pokemon? It does so much. Our Machamp tanks that so much better. But we've got this Dynamic Punch coming in. Let's see if the opponent respects it. And they do not, which is insane. So I might just let this Toxicroak go down now and come in, get a full farm down, resisted farm down with our Venusaur, and have a ton of energy stored for whatever they have in the back here. Let's go. They've got a Tentacruel, which is kind of crazy. So maybe this is like a Tentacruel Toxapex backline. Tentacruel is a little bit of a spicy pick for the poison water type Pokemon that we've been seeing in this meta. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. I might call this. Yeah, I'm gonna call this. Hopefully it's not a Scald. It is just an Acid Spray. It is just an Acid Spray. So now I've got to throw this Frenzy Plant and hopefully dip on out of here as soon as possible. Let's see what the opponent does. They don't shield, which is incredible for us because I was really fearful that they would go for a double shield on their debuffing Pokemon, but they don't double shield it, which is a huge mistake for them. And we can get this like fast break onto this what is this Marowak, and then we've got Bubble Beams to debuff it. So we'll start to live these Mud Slaps and these Bone Clubs better and better. And we've still got a little bit of HP left on that Venusaur if needed, but I don't think it's going to be needed. We'll get to this next Bubble Beam, and we'll be able to take this game. But again, I think it potentially could have gone either way if the opponent decided to double shield that Tentacruel. So really glad we came out on top with that coin flip there, and we came away with a dub here. Let's see what the next opponent has. Toxicroak into Feraligatr. Shadow Feraligatr. I started seeing more and more of the Shadow Feraligatrs as we have started to creep up in the elo. So let's see what we want to do playing out of this. I could probably just double shield and farm all the way down, but I don't want to give up both shields, and the opponent doesn't want to give us the chance to just do that to their Feraligatr. So they actually immediately swap out. So we're going to throw this Dynamic Punch, threaten some big damage, and try to go for a catch. And we get the catch of the Aerial Ace, which is huge. It's their less efficient move onto the Suicune. And we sneak an Ice Fang in. So I can go for a big farm down and then have less health, which is kind of ideal, but also kind of not, because now it'll put us into like really nice farm down range for that Feraligatr if they decide to start giving up shields. Let's see what we do. We throw the Scald. If they do go for a full farm down, I do believe we can probably get to another Bubble Beam. And they do go for the shield, but we get the debuff, so now they have to throw, or we get to another Scald. So they do end up making that decision, throwing their move, and that's amazing for me Now I can come in, start a farm down with our Venusaur, and get a fast break for what they have in the back. Let's see what they... Yeah, they don't get to another move. That's incredible for us. And it's a Golurgan back, which is incredible for us. So we get to this Frenzy Plant, and then hopefully we can get to another Frenzy Plant, which we should be able to before they can get to back-to-back Shadow Punches to take out our Venusaur. But look at how much these Mudslaps are doing. So it's really, really nice that we got that debuffed fast break, because these Mudslaps are tearing through our Pokemon. It's neutral damage because of the poison subtyping on Venusaur, and they almost got to just shield their way through us and just use fast moves, and then they would have had so much energy for our backline. Those Mudslaps also would have absolutely demolished our Toxicroak. So that Mudslapper, incredibly, incredibly threatening for our team, because it's more attack weighted than it is bulky, and it would just shred our neutral damage players and our weak players. And this Malamar, I saw a couple of these, huge core breaker for our team. Instantly save swap into the only good matchup that we have into this Pokemon, and they instantly go for a superpower and dip out into their Dugong. So this is just off to a horrible, horrible start. We don't get to get any damage off on that Malamar, and they just get to absorb all of this damage onto their Dugong. So this is absolutely like a horrendous start to this game. I really don't see how we can play out of this. And they bait, which is like cool. Yeah, we don't give a shield, but I think that was an intentional bait so that they could just get some more energy to threaten our Toxicroak. So now we have to come in and give up a shield even. We might call an Icy Wind bait though. Yeah, so it looks like we're calling a bait. Let's see if the opponent full sends a Drill Run. They don't. They throw the Icy Wind, so that's good on us. But again, look at how much this stuff's adding up. So we've got to throw a move eventually, or just shield this and try and farm down all the way with the Venusaur, get an energy lead, and hopefully be able to play out of this Malamar that they have in back. Let's see if we can do that. We get the farm down, take a little bit of Ice Shard damage, and now they've got the Malamar coming in. And look, these Psy Waves are super effective into Venusaur and double super effective into our Toxicroak. So just absolutely a horrible Pokemon for us to run into. And a huge oversight on my part when I built this team. I just, again, forgot about the Psy Wave when I built this team. And it's showing here. This Malamar is just doing absolute work to us. We pull both shields, but now we've got like no health left on our Toxicroak. And the actual Psy Wave KOs before we even get to it, even though we had like a little bit of red HP left, because it was a double super effective move, and it's stabbed from the Malamar. So it's just horrible. We didn't even get to see what the backline Pokemon was and to see if we had any sort of a chance coming out of that. But on to the next battle. Again, huge oversight on my part. It's a Skarmory though. Holy cow, this is another core breaker for us. Would be decent, right, if we had counter, but it's Poison Jab. So we safe swap into the Suicune. But the opponent comes in with a Stunfisk, which I kind of found ridiculous. So gonna shield this up. It is the discharge, which is nice. It wasn't a bait to save them some energy with the Mud Bomb. And now we can go for this debuff with this Bubble Beam. The opponent knows, and they don't shield it, which is crazy. But now we should be able to live this move because we debuff them. So let's see what we do. We do no shield it. The discharge doesn't KO us. And we get to this Bubble Beam, and the opponent has to shield this if they want to maintain switch, which they do. But now we live the move, and we get the simultaneous KO. So we bring the shield even. We, I guess, make it a tie. So it's kind of like an up-in-the-air coin toss now of what switch is. And they come in with the Dunsparce, and then they swap into their Skarmory. We throw this Dynamic Punch, which is threatening monumental damage into the Skarmory. And they don't shield it. So now I'm going to build up some extra energy, force them to throw, maybe even give a shield. Yeah, gonna give a shield because we can probably get to another move on that Dunsparce. And we're gonna come in, go for an aggressive double resisted farm down. And then now we have our kind of loaded Venusaur and a little bit loaded Toxicroak waiting for that Dunsparce back. And the opponent knew that it was over. They gave us the forfeit. That is incredible. Very, very tricky lead for us. And we were able to play out of it. Again, bit of an interesting swap from the opponent. Counter swap into our safe swap Suicune, but I don't know, maybe they just didn't know what to do against the Suicune as it came in, or maybe they didn't expect it to have the Ice Fang fast move. Again, tricky lead here, but we're doing really, really good fast move damage into it with our Toxicroak. Gonna respect this Aerial Ace, and then maybe try to catch out of it if the opponent allows us to, but they swap out into a Dunsparce of all things. So let's see what we do here. Go for a catch. We catch the, it's going to be a Drill Run, so this is, I mean, the move that they would throw into the Venusaur anyways, but our Venusaur can eat this, and hopefully we can get to a Frenzy Plant if they let us, but they don't let us, and I know that shields down, this Venusaur is not going to do anything for us against that jump buff. So I actually let it go entirely, and we're going to come in and just continue to farm with this Toxicroak, build up to almost we do build up to back-to-back dynamic punches, and now the opponent's going to have to give us a shield or give us their Dunsparce. And then now they send in a Dragonite, and the Suicune is about to eat its double super effective damage into their entire team that's left. So dealing with that Dunsparce is the only thing we had to do, especially since we kept that Suicune healthy and alive and back. And then the Ice Fangs were just going to town on the rest of that opponent's team. So that was incredible for us. Really, really lucky that we made that decision just to throw away the Venusaur, because it had absolutely no play, especially shields down into the opponent. And we have an interesting lead here with the normally be a horrible matchup as a fighter, but we've got Poison Jab as our fast move. It's super effective damage. They're doing neutral damage with their charms, and they still are outpacing us damage wise. So I'm just going to come and go for a really aggressive farm down with our Venusaur. I didn't want to give up a shield. I should have probably thrown sooner. That's a mistake on my end, but I wanted to kind of just get it as low as possible. And then now in comes a Morpeko against our Venusaur that's super loaded, but we're also pretty chipped, so we won't be able to survive a Psychic Fangs as comfortably as we would be able to normally. So I tried to catch a Psychic Fangs. The opponent doesn't fall for it, so now we're in a very, very tricky spot. Let's see how we play out of this. And then now they bait us with the Psychic Fangs. That's brutal. Oh my god. And then now they're going to go for a catch on their Marowak, which is nice for us. And I think I maybe should have baited here. I don't know. Throwing a Scald feels a little bit tricky. They do shield it, so that's horrible for us. But now we might be able to build up an energy advantage. We do get to this Bubble Beam, so we can probably no shield what they have coming in. And we maybe go for a farm down. We get the farm down before they get a move off. That's crazy. So we get this Frenzy Plant off before they can get back-to-back moves built up to threaten our damage. And we end up coming with a win, even though that Morpeko really, really threatened our backline Pokemon. So that was an incredible way to come out of that game. I will take that for sure. But again, like I said, that's a 2-3, so not the most positive sets that we could have gotten. But having that Poison Jab user and then just an interesting backline on this team, a little bit less than ideal, but we were able to, I think, go overall positive, which I will always take. And that is going to conclude our second day of the marathon of posting for the final week of the season. Tomorrow's battles, we've got 1 mid-stage evolution, and as always, 3 shadows. So I hope you guys are excited. Those are going to be some really, really electric battles, and I do believe that we go a little bit more positive, so the climb continues in this last week. So I'll see you guys then. Until then, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Yeti Nope TV. Have a nice night. Thank you.